Hello, and welcome to today's Tap the Day. Today's topic I've actually been working on recently with a client of mine and a lot with myself, honestly, over many years. But it is the idea of perfectionism. I can't make a mistake. I have to get it right. I got to make the perfect choice. Have to make the perfect decision going forward, kind of thing. So I think that's a topic that many of us have close to us or have impacted us at some point. Either we're perfectionists ourselves to some degree, or we're related to, or we know, or we work with a perfectionist. So I think we've all experienced this and or have been impacted by it. So feel free to follow along with me today as I tap through this. I'm going to do my usual three-part process to it. If at any point you find in that process that you're not ready to move on to the next step, feel free to just pause the video, rewind it, go through it again, or just pause it and continue it on your own until you're ready to move on to that next step. So for me, typically those three process steps are first acknowledging and acknowledging, accepting, focusing on, verbalizing, whatever you want to call it, but what is the problem? How do we feel right now? Second, accepting that maybe we can make a difference, or maybe there can be change, or maybe this can be shifted, something like that. It's the idea of maybe. And then the third is, where do I want to go with this? What do I choose for myself instead? So if at any point my words don't work for you, feel free to substitute your own or use your own words, because the best choice is words that are closest and nearest and dearest and most correct to you. All right. I hope this helps. Following along, starting on the side of our hand. Even though it feels like I can never make a mistake, I have to have the perfect next step. I can't get anything wrong. Everyone expects perfect. I'm not allowed to make a mistake. That's just what I'm noticing right now. And even though I'm afraid of making a mistake, what will people say if I make a mistake? What will people do if I make a mistake? I could lose my job if I make a mistake. They might not talk to me anymore if I make a mistake. Others expect me to be perfect. And I'm just on the side of my hand still. I expect myself to be perfect. There's only one correct choice. That's just what I've got going on right now. Taking a breath. Even though I'm afraid of making a mistake, it feels like I'm not allowed to have that extra comfort. Feels like I have to be extra human. Feels like everything rides on every decision I make. So I'm afraid to make a choice. I'm afraid to do things because it might result in a mistake. And once I've made the mistake, I can't go back. And that's just what I'm dealing with right now. I'm afraid to make a mistake. Yep, I'm afraid to make a mistake. I can feel that tightness in my chest. For you, it might be somewhere else, and it might be a different sensation. But I feel that tightness in my chest. I feel that in my shoulders and my jaw, like a constant pressure. I have to make the right choice. I have to figure out what the correct choice is. And that paralyzes me, stops me from making the decision, prolongs the decision making process, worries me to do anything. So I start to avoid things. Because if I'm not going to do it perfect, what's the point? Has to be perfect. I have to get it right the first time. People won't like me if I make a mistake. People will blame me if I make a mistake. So I hold myself to a high bar. But it's helped me in the past. It's meant I've had good quality work. Some people to my face have celebrated my work ethic, told me I'm a hard worker, told me I'm good at what I do. But it doesn't feel like that. When the next thing comes, I start to stress, worried about making a mistake while I work, worried I might make a mistake in conversation. I might say the wrong thing. I might do the wrong thing. Because it feels like I'm not allowed to make a mistake. People always expect more. Even when I don't make a mistake, they expect more. And that's just what I'm noticing right now. It stresses me out. Puts me under a lot of pressure. Feels like no one cares. Feels like other people get to make mistakes. But not me. I don't get to make mistakes. At least that's how it feels. I don't let myself make a mistake. Mistakes would cost me too much. There's no chance of a do-over. Because, of course, mistakes are only bad. Now, for me, I'm going to move on to the maybe statements of possibility. If you're not feeling ready for that, continue on tapping on how you feel right now in the moment, both physically, emotionally, and conceptually. But maybe it's not so bad. Maybe it's as bad as I think it is. But maybe I don't have to put myself under so much pressure. Maybe I can take my time to make a more maybe I can take my time. Maybe I have time to think my decisions through. Maybe I can make mistakes and I'll survive. Maybe I've made mistakes in the past and it's been difficult. But maybe in the past I've made mistakes and I've survived. Maybe I've even learned from mistakes. Maybe some of my mistakes have turned out to be good things. So maybe I can have compassion for myself. I find I'm compassionate to others when they make a mistake. So maybe I can keep a little portion of that understanding for myself. Maybe I don't have to have the perfect choice right now. Maybe I have time to see what happens. Maybe I don't have to have the perfect response right this moment. Maybe the work doesn't have to be perfect the first time around. Maybe I can take feedback on it and improve it at each step. Maybe I don't have to be so hard on myself and my abilities. Maybe I can be kind with myself. But part of me is still afraid, and that's okay. Because even as I'm tapping on this, it doesn't need to be perfect. I can do it many times. My perfectionism did something for me in the past. For me personally, it helped me through school. It helped me with teaching. But now that perfectionism goes too far. Maybe now it causes me stress. Maybe now it causes me anxiety and frustration. So maybe instead I can have compassion for myself. Maybe for now I can just let loose a little bit, just the smallest amount. Okay. Now I know for many of us, we might not be ready yet to move on to the next stage, and that's okay. Wherever you are in the process is where you are in the process, because it took you how long to get to where you are now. My mentor likes to remind me of this one. It took you how long to get to where you are now. It's going to take time to get you back out to a healthy mindset. So be kind to yourself. But now I'm going to move on to what my intentions are, just to see the full completion of this. And I might do it again later. You might do it again later. Instead of being so severe with myself, I choose to be kind. I choose to show myself some of the kindness I show others. I choose to have more understanding for why I am the way I am. I choose to be a little bit more gentle with myself and my actions. I choose to take my time and not put myself under so much pressure to make a choice. I choose to be understanding of my circumstances and constraints. Yeah. I choose to be gentle with myself. I choose to let go a little bit of that perfectionism. I choose to be a little bit more free of it. I choose to question it instead. Not in an antagonistic way, but more as a way of learning. I wonder why I have this perfectionism. I wonder where I learned it from. I wonder if I need to hold on to it as tightly anymore. If anything came up for you in those, be sure to write it down. It's something you can process later and get deeper understanding. Maybe I can be kind. Maybe my decisions don't have to be perfect. Maybe instead they can be good for the current moment. Okay. Hands over your heart, take a breath. Or do the heart hug. That's another good one. I know for me, perfectionism is something I always struggle with. The fear of, will I say the wrong thing? Am I doing the wrong thing? Is my work good enough? It's something many of us struggle with. But I hope this brought you some relief. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. And if anything came up during that process, any memories, deeper ideas, understandings, ahas, be sure to write them down. And either, if they're small things, work with a swap partner or work with a friend. You can tap together back and forth. Or if it's a larger thing, find a practitioner. I'm more than happy to help you. But there's a variety of other practitioners out there. You'll find one perfect for you. And reach out to them to help you with processing these big memories, these deep links, to bring you some more relief. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope it helped. I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.